The blood was spreading too fast. Obiageli Nwosu collapsed on the marble floor of Suite 5000 at exactly 11:47 p.m., her cleaning supplies scattering across the pristine white surface. The pain that ripped through her abdomen wasn't new. She'd been living with it for 7 months, but this was different. This was her body finally giving up on the lie she'd been telling herself, that willpower could outrun death. She pressed her hand against her stomach. Warm, wet, too much blood. Not yet, she thought desperately. Emeka needs 6 more months. Just 6 more months. Her vision blurred. The Seoul skyline beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows turned into smears of light. She tried to stand. She had to clean this up, had to finish her shift, couldn't lose this job, but her legs wouldn't cooperate. The room tilted. She heard a door open, footsteps, fast. A man's voice, sharp with alarm. What the? Obi's eyes focused just enough to see him. Tall, dark suit, face carved from stone. The kind of man who owned buildings and people with equal ease. Mr. Shin, the penthouse owner. The one she'd never met because he was never supposed to be here on Tuesday nights. "I'm sorry," she wanted to say. "I'm sorry for bleeding on your floor. I'm sorry for existing where I shouldn't. I'm sorry." But her vision went black before the words could form. Hey besties, if you're enjoying Soul Heart Stories, kindly hit that subscribe button right now before you forget, because the twists in this story will leave you absolutely shook. Now let's get back to it, because what happens next will have you sobbing into your pillow at 3 a.m. Shin Junwoo was 34 years old, and he'd built his entire empire on one principle. Notice everything. You didn't survive in Seoul's underground by being careless. You caught the micro-expression that revealed betrayal. You heard the tremor in someone's voice before they lied. You saw the shift in loyalty before it turned into a knife in your back. He noticed everything. Except, apparently, the woman who'd been cleaning his penthouse every Tuesday for the past 8 months. Now she was dying on his living room floor, and Junwoo couldn't remember ever actually looking at her face. He dropped to his knees beside her, something he never did, kneel for anyone, and pressed 2 fingers to her neck. Pulse, weak, too fast. Her skin was cold despite the blood pooling warm beneath her. Her name tag caught the light. Obiageli N, Nigerian, probably. Hotel uniform, late 20s, too thin. He could see her collarbone pressing sharp against her skin. Her hands were rough, cracked from chemicals. Working hands. The blood was coming from between her legs. Too much. Not an injury. Something internal. Junwoo pulled out his phone. "Dr. Han, Penthouse, now. Medical emergency." "What kind?" "Now." He hung up, looked at the woman. Her face was peaceful in a way that disturbed him deeply. Like she'd been expecting this. Like she'd already made peace with dying. Something about that expression made his chest tight. His mother had looked like that 22 years ago, lying in a hospital bed she couldn't afford, telling 12-year-old Junwoo that everything would be fine, even as cervical cancer ate her alive from the inside. She'd been a maid too, at this very hotel. She'd chosen to work instead of getting treatment because treatment cost more than she'd earn in 5 years. She thought she was being strong, sacrificing for him. She was wrong. Her death didn't save him. It destroyed him. Junwoo looked at Obiageli bleeding on his floor and felt something he'd locked away 22 years ago crack open in his chest. Not again, he thought. Not this time. Dr. Han arrived in 7 minutes, a small, efficient man who'd been patching up Junwoo's people for a decade. He took one look at the woman and his expression went grim. Internal hemorrhaging, severe. We need to get her to a hospital. Do it here. Junwoo, this isn't a minor injury. She needs surgery. Then bring the equipment here. His voice went cold. Absolute. I'm not sending her to a public hospital where she'll be flagged as an undocumented worker and deported before she's treated. You don't even know her. I know she's dying on my floor. That's enough. Dr. Han studied him for a long moment, then nodded. I need to examine her first, figure out what's actually happening. 23 minutes later, Dr. Han straightened up from where he'd been examining Obiageli. His expression was carefully neutral, but Junwoo had known him long enough to read the tension in his shoulders. Well? Advanced ovarian cancer. Stage 3, possibly stage 4. The tumor ruptured. That's what's causing the hemorrhaging. Dr. Han cleaned his hands with clinical efficiency. She needs immediate surgery to stop the bleeding, followed by aggressive chemotherapy, medication, monitoring. Can you do the surgery here? Technically, yes, but Junwoo, this isn't stitching up a knife wound. This is major abdominal surgery. The recovery alone will take months. The treatment will be extensive. The cost? How much? Dr. Han calculated silently. Surgery, chemotherapy, medication, follow-up care, W80 million won. Possibly more depending on complications. Junwoo didn't blink. Do it. All of it. Do you understand what you're agreeing to? This is a long-term commitment, months of treatment. She'll need constant care. I understand. Who is she to you? Junwoo looked at the unconscious woman on his couch, a stranger, a maid, someone invisible. But something about her made his chest feel like it was being crushed. Maybe it was the way she'd collapsed, not crying out, not fighting, just quietly surrendering. Like she'd been carrying something too heavy for too long, and her body finally gave out. He knew that feeling. He'd watched his mother do the same thing. She's someone who shouldn't die because she can't afford to live, Junwoo said finally. Do the surgery, whatever she needs. Send me the bill. Dr. Han studied him with an expression Junwoo couldn't quite read, then nodded. I'll need equipment, nurses, an anesthesiologist I trust. This will take time to set up. Make the calls, whatever you need. By 2 a.m., Junwoo's penthouse living room had been transformed into a makeshift surgical theater. By 3 a.m., Dr. Han was wrist-deep in emergency surgery. Junwoo sat in his office with the door open, watching the organized chaos. His hands were stained with her blood. He hadn't washed them yet, couldn't seem to make himself move. At 6:47 a.m., Dr. Han emerged, exhausted, blood on his scrubs, but his expression was satisfied. She's stable. Surgery went well. I removed the primary tumor and stopped the bleeding. He stripped off his gloves. But Junwoo, she needs months of treatment, chemotherapy, medication, constant monitoring. This is just the beginning. I understand. And she's going to wake up with questions. I'll answer them. Dr. Han shook his head slowly. You're a strange man, Shin Junwoo. I've been told. Obi woke up to pain, not the rotting, endless ache she'd lived with for 7 months. This was different. Sharp, clean, surgical. She was alive. That was her first coherent thought, followed immediately by panic. Her eyes snapped open. The room came into focus slowly. High ceiling, cream walls, massive windows showing Seoul at dawn, expensive furniture, medical equipment beeping softly beside a leather couch. She was on that couch, IV in her arm, bandages wrapped around her abdomen. Hospital gown she didn't remember putting on. This wasn't a hospital. This was... You're awake. Obi's head snapped to the left. The man from last night sat in a chair beside the couch, still wearing the same dark suit, now wrinkled and stained. His tie was gone. sleeves rolled up, hair disheveled. He looked like he hadn't slept. He also looked like he could kill her with his bare hands. Terror spiked through her. She tried to sit up. Pain exploded through her abdomen and she gasped, falling back against the cushions. "Don't move," he said. His voice was quiet, controlled.
Don't move. You just had emergency surgery. The stitches will tear.
Surgery? Where am I? What happened?
Surgery? Her voice came out hoarse, broken. Where am I? What happened? You collapsed. Internal hemorrhaging from a ruptured tumor. My doctor performed surgery here to stop the bleeding and remove the mass. The words hit her like physical blows. Surgery, here, doctor. How much? The question fell out of her mouth before she could stop it. How much did it cost? Something flickered across his face, almost like surprise. That's your first question? I can't. Her breathing was getting faster, panic crawling up her throat. I can't afford surgery. I don't have insurance. I can't. It's paid for. Obi stared at him. What? The surgery, the treatment, all of it, paid for. I don't understand. You were dying on my floor. I stopped it. He said it so simply, like it was obvious, like saving strangers was something he did every Tuesday. Why? The word came out as a whisper. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, because I watched my mother die of cancer when I was 12 because she couldn't afford treatment. She was a maid, like you. She chose to work instead of getting help because she thought she was protecting me. His expression didn't change, but something in his eyes went dark, haunted. She was wrong. Her death didn't protect me. It destroyed me. Obi felt tears sliding down her face before she realized she was crying. I have a son, she heard herself say. Emeka, he's 6. I needed to save money for him before. She couldn't finish the sentence. I know. You know? I had you researched while you were in surgery. He said it without apology. Emeka Nwosu, 6 years old, attends Songpa International School on partial scholarship. Lives with you in a goshiwon in Gurogu. Father not in the picture. A different kind of fear shot through her. Where is he? Who's watching him? He'll be terrified if I'm not. He's fine. My people contacted your neighbor, Mrs. Lee. She's watching him. He thinks you're working a double shift. Your people? Obi's brain was struggling to process this. Who are you? Shin Junwoo. I own this hotel, among other things. The way he said other things made something in her stomach twist. I need to call Emeka. He'll worry. You can call him. But first, Dr. Han needs to examine you. Make sure everything is healing properly. He stood, moving to the door. I'll give you privacy. Wait. He paused, looked back. Why did you really do this? Obi asked. I'm nobody. Just a maid you never even looked at. Why would you spend... She couldn't even imagine the cost. Why would you save me? Junwoo was quiet for so long she thought he wouldn't answer. Then, because you reminded me that I once knelt beside my mother's hospital bed and promised her I'd never let anyone die the way she did if I had the power to stop it. His expression was unreadable. I have the power now, so I stopped it. He left before she could respond. Obi lay there, tears streaming down her face, and tried to understand what had just happened to her life. Dr. Han came in 30 minutes later, professional, efficient. He examined her stitches, checked her vitals, asked questions about her pain levels. You're healing well, he said finally. The surgery was successful. We removed the primary tumor and stopped the hemorrhaging. But Obi Ageli, may I call you Obi? She nodded. Obi, you have advanced ovarian cancer. The surgery bought you time, but you need aggressive treatment. Chemotherapy, medication, monitoring. It's going to be a long road. How long was I? She couldn't bring herself to ask. Without treatment, you had maybe 3 weeks? A month at most? His expression softened. Why didn't you seek help sooner? I couldn't afford it. So you chose to die. I chose to work, to save money for my son, so when Her voice cracked. So he'd have something after. Dr. Han was quiet for a moment. Then, Junwoo told me about his mother. She made the same choice. I know. He's funding your entire treatment. Do you understand what that means? Obi shook her head. It means you're going to live, Obi. You're going to see your son grow up. You're going to survive this. The words hit her like a physical force. She started sobbing, great, heaving sobs that tore through her chest. Dr. Han sat beside her and let her cry. When she finally calmed down, he said gently, he wants you to stay here during treatment so we can monitor you properly. Here? In his home? Yes. There's a guest room prepared for you. And your son, Emeka, he can stay here too. It's better than that Goshiwan, and you'll need family support during chemo. I can't. I don't even know him. This is too much. Obi. Dr. Han's voice was firm. You almost died. You're getting a second chance. Take it. 2 hours later, Obi called Emeka. Mrs. Lee brought him to the phone. His little voice was sleepy. It was only 9 a.m. Mama? Obi closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face again. Hello, my love. Mrs. Lee said you're working late. Are you coming home soon? Actually, baby, something happened. Something good. She took a shaky breath. Mama was very sick, but a kind man helped me. He's a doctor. Not exactly true, but close enough. And he made Mama better. You were sick? His voice went small, scared. Yes, but I'm okay now. I'm going to be okay. She smiled through tears. And guess what? The kind man said you can come stay with me while I get better. In a big, beautiful place with lots of space to play. Really? Really? When? Today, if you want. Would you like that? Yes. His excitement was immediate, then quieter. Mama, I was scared. You've been sad for a long time. Obi's heart broke. I know, baby. I'm sorry. But I'm not going to be sad anymore. I promise. After she hung up, she found Junwoo standing in the doorway. She didn't know how long he'd been there. Thank you, she said quietly. For everything. I don't know how I'll ever... You don't owe me anything. I owe you my life. No. He stepped into the room. You owe yourself your life. I just made it possible for you to keep it. Why are you doing this? I told you? No, the real reason. She looked at him directly. You could have just paid for the surgery and sent me to a hospital. But you're bringing my son here, letting us stay. Why? Junwoo was quiet. Then, do you know what this penthouse was before you started cleaning it 8 months ago? She shook her head. Empty, cold, a place I existed in, not lived in. He moved to the window, looking out at Seoul. Then one day I came home early, Tuesday, around 6 p.m. You were still here? I heard you humming while you arranged flowers on my desk. Nigerian song, I think. My mother used to hum the same way while she worked. Obi's breath caught. You reorganized my books by color. I never asked you to. You just did it. You left fresh flowers in my office every week. You folded my shirts a specific way, the same way my mother did. He turned to look at her. You made my space feel less empty, and I never even looked at you. I never said thank you. I never acknowledged you existed. I'm a maid. We're supposed to be invisible. You shouldn't be. His voice was firm. No one should be. Something in Obi's chest cracked open. I've been invisible my whole life. It was safer that way. Not anymore. He said it like a promise. You're visible now. At least to me. Emeka arrived that afternoon. Junwoo's driver brought him and Mrs. Lee, who insisted on coming to make sure Obi was truly okay. The moment Emeka saw his mother on the couch, he burst into tears and ran to her. Careful, baby. Obi caught him gently, mindful of her stitches. Mama's still a little sore. You're really okay? His small hands touched her face like he was making sure she was real. I'm really okay. I'm going to get better. Emeka looked around the penthouse with wide eyes. Mama, this place is like a palace. Mrs. Lee was also staring, clearly overwhelmed. Obiya, what is happening? Before Obi could answer, Junwoo appeared. He'd changed into fresh clothes, black slacks, white shirt. Still formal, but somehow less intimidating. Mrs. Lee immediately bowed, deeply, the kind of bow you gave to someone very important. Please, Junwoo said in Korean. Don't bow, you're a guest. You're Mr. Shin, Mrs. Lee said in careful Korean. The owner. I've worked at this hotel for 20 years. I've never seen you in person. I prefer it that way. He looked at Emeka, who was half hiding behind Obi. Hello? Emeka stared at him, whispered to Obi in English. Mama, he looks scary. Junwoo's lips twitched. I speak English. Emeka's eyes went huge. And you're right, Junwoo continued. I am scary, but not to you. Never to you or your mother. You're the man who saved Mama? Yes. Thank you. Emeka bowed, a perfect, respectful Korean bow that Obi had taught him for school. Something in Junwoo's expression softened. You're welcome. Over the next hour, Mrs. Lee helped Emeka settle into the guest room that Junwoo's staff had prepared. It was bigger than their entire Goshiwon. Emeka was delighted, running from corner to corner, discovering new things. When Mrs. Lee finally left, with Junwoo's driver taking her home, Obi found herself alone with Junwoo in the living room, while Emeka played in his new room. This is too much, she said quietly. The room, the treatment, everything. I don't know how I can ever... There was a woman, Junwoo interrupted, who used to clean this penthouse. She came every Tuesday, for 8 months. She hummed while she worked. She left flowers on my desk. She made my space feel less cold. He looked at Obi directly. I never thanked her. I never even looked at her face. And then one night, she almost died on my floor because she'd been choosing work over her own life for 7 months. That's not your fault, isn't it? His voice was quiet but intense. I own this hotel. I set the wages. I create the culture. I could have noticed that our cleaning staff works 2 or 3 jobs just to survive. I could have paid better, created better conditions, but I didn't, because they were invisible to me. You can't save everyone. No, but I can save you. He said it with absolute certainty. So let me. Obi felt tears building again. Why does this matter so much to you? Because 22 years ago, I sat beside my mother's hospital bed and watched her die. I was 12, powerless, unable to help. His expression was carefully controlled, but his eyes were dark, haunted. I swore that if I ever had power, I'd use it to stop anyone else from dying the way she did, alone, in pain, invisible. I wasn't alone, Obi said softly. I have Emeka, and now you have me. The words hung in the air between them. From the guest room, they heard Emeka laughing at something, probably a toy he'd found. The sound was bright, full of life. He sounds happy, Junwoo said. He is, for the first time in months. Obi looked at him. Thank you for giving that back to him. You're welcome. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Emeka came running out. Mama! Mama, there's a computer with games. Can I play? Ask Mr. Shin, it's his house. Emeka looked at Junwoo nervously. Can I please? Of course, but it's almost lunchtime. Are you hungry? Emeka nodded enthusiastically. What do you like to eat? Emeka looked at Obi for permission. She nodded. I like chicken. Chicken. I can make that happen. Junwoo pulled out his phone, typed something quickly. It'll be here in 30 minutes. You're going to order food? Obi asked. Unless you prefer me to cook, but I should warn you, my cooking might kill you faster than the cancer. Emeka giggled. Obi found herself smiling despite everything. Maybe, she thought, this strange new reality might actually be okay. The first week was an adjustment. Obi's body was healing from surgery, but slowly. Everything hurt. Getting up from the couch required help. Walking to the bathroom left her exhausted. Dr. Han came twice daily to check her progress and manage her pain medication. Junwoo's penthouse became a strange, suspended reality. During the day, Emeka attended school, Junwoo's driver taking him and picking him up. After school, Emeka did homework at the dining table, while Obi rested on the couch nearby. In the evenings, Junwoo came home from wherever he spent his days, and the three of them ate dinner together. It was domestic in a way that felt surreal. On the 5th day, Obi woke at 3 a.m., pain medication wearing off, and found Junwoo standing at the windows, staring at Seoul's lights. Can't sleep? She asked quietly. He turned. Never can. You? Pain. She shifted carefully on the couch. It's worse at night. He moved to her side immediately. Do you need medication? I can wake Dr. Han. No, it's manageable. She patted the space beside her. Sit. Tell me why you don't sleep. He sat. Insomnia. I've had it for years. Since your mother? Since before. My father. He trailed off. Let's just say sleep wasn't safe in my childhood home. Obi heard what he didn't say. I'm sorry. Don't be. It made me who I am. A hotel owner who never sleeps in his own hotel? His lips twitched. Something like that. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Obi said, Can I ask you something? Yes. What do you actually do? You said you own the hotel, but Mrs. Lee bows to you like you're royalty. Your driver moves like security. You have a private doctor on call at 3 a.m. She looked at him directly. Who are you really? Junwoo was quiet for a long time. You want the truth? Yes. I'm a criminal. He said it simply, matter of fact. I own legitimate businesses, this hotel, restaurants, real estate. But I also control most of the gambling operations in Gangnam, entertainment districts in Itaewon, protection services throughout Seoul. Obi's heart rate spiked. You're mafia. That's the romantic term. I prefer businessmen with flexible ethics. He watched her carefully. Are you scared? She should be. She should grab Emeka and run. But looking at Junwoo, at the man who'd saved her life, who'd brought her son here, who sat with her at 3 a.m. when the pain was bad, she couldn't quite feel fear. Should I be? No, never from me, never from my people. His voice was firm. But my world is dangerous, Obi, and now you're in it. That's something you should understand. Are we in danger? No, you're under my protection. That means you're untouchable. Because I'm your... She didn't know how to finish that sentence. Because you matter to me. He said it quietly. I don't fully understand why, but you do. Obi's breath caught. Junwoo, you don't have to say anything. I just wanted you to know the truth about what I am, what being here means. Okay? Okay? Okay. She smiled slightly. You saved my life. You're keeping my son safe. You sit with me at 3 a.m. when I can't sleep. I don't care if you're a criminal. You're a good man where it counts. I'm not good. Yes, you are. Her voice was firm. Good men don't just exist in fairy tales, Junwoo. Sometimes they exist in complicated, messy realities, and they do what they can with what they have. He looked at her like she'd said something profound. You see the world differently than most people? I'm a Nigerian single mother with cancer living in a crime lord's penthouse. My whole life is different than most people. He laughed. Actually laughed. The sound was rusty, like he didn't do it often, but it was real. What? She asked. Nothing, just, you're remarkable. I'm a maid. You're so much more than that. The way he said it made her chest tight. By week 2, Obi was strong enough to walk around the penthouse without help. She still tired easily, but the worst of the pain was managed. Emeka was thriving. Junwoo had bought him books about dinosaurs, his current obsession, and spent evenings reading them with him. Watching this powerful, dangerous man sit cross-legged on the floor, explaining pterodactyls to her 6-year-old, made Obi's heart do complicated things. On day 10, Obi found Junwoo's office door open. She knocked gently. Come in. He sat at an enormous desk, multiple monitors showing what looked like security feeds and financial data. He closed them when she entered. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You're not interrupting. What do you need? I wanted... She held up a small bouquet of flowers. I bought these from the hotel gift shop. Thought your office could use some color? He stared at the flowers, then at her. You're buying flowers for my office? Old habit. You always seem to like them. I did. His voice was quiet. I do. She arranged them in the vase on his desk, the same vase she'd used for 8 months without knowing he'd noticed. There, better. Obi? Yes? Why did you always leave flowers? You weren't paid extra for it. She smiled. Because flowers are life, color, beauty. Your office was so cold, so gray. I thought maybe you needed something alive in your space. I did. He stood, moving closer. I didn't know it, but I did. They were standing very close now. Obi could smell his cologne, something expensive and understated. Could see the faint scar on his jaw she'd never noticed before. Thank you, he said, for seeing what I needed before I did. You're welcome. The moment stretched, intimate, charged. Then Emeka's voice rang out. Mama, Mr. Shin, dinner's here. The spell broke. They both smiled. We should go, Obi said. Yes. But neither of them moved immediately. On day 15, Obi's past came knocking. She was resting on the couch, reading, when Junwoo's phone rang. He answered in clipped Korean, his expression darkening with each word. When he hung up, his entire demeanor had changed. Cold, dangerous. What's wrong? Obi asked. Your ex-boyfriend? Her blood went cold. Chuka? He's here, in Seoul. He filed a complaint with immigration services claiming you kidnapped his son. What? Emeka isn't his son? He's never even met... I know, but he's claiming paternity, demanding money to drop the complaint. $10 million. Obi felt like she was drowning. I don't have $10 million. I don't have anything... You don't need to. Junwoo's voice was ice. I'll handle this. How? You don't want to know. Junwoo. He knelt in front of her, taking her hands. Listen to me. You're under my protection. That means no one touches you. No one threatens you. No one makes demands of you. Do you understand? He'll go to the police. He won't. You don't know Chuka. I know exactly what he is. A coward who preys on vulnerable women, who threatens children for money. Junwoo's eyes were black. Lethal. He made a mistake coming here. An expensive mistake. What are you going to do? Make him disappear. The words should have terrified her. But looking at Junwoo, at the fierce protectiveness in his expression, Obi only felt safe. Don't kill him, she said quietly. Why not? Because I don't want blood on your hands because of me. Something in his expression softened. Obi, please, just make him leave. Make him afraid to come back, but don't kill him. Junwoo was quiet for a long moment, then nodded. Okay, for you. He left 30 minutes later, didn't say where he was going. Obi spent the next 4 hours terrified, imagining the worst. He came back at midnight, no blood on his clothes, expression unreadable. It's done, he said simply. What did you do? I showed him evidence of his other extortion attempts, his drug dealing in Lagos, his assault record. Junwoo poured himself whiskey. Then I showed him what I'm capable of when someone threatens my family. Your family? He looked at her directly. Yes, my family. You and Amika? That's what you are to me now. Obi's eyes filled with tears. Junwoo, he won't come back. He won't file complaints. He won't contact you ever again. I made sure of it. How? I bought his debts, all of them. He now owes me $50 million. If he ever comes near you or Emika, I'll collect, with interest. He understands what that means. Obi stood carefully, crossed to him. Thank you. You don't need to thank me. She hugged him, just wrapped her arms around him and held on. Junwoo went rigid, then slowly, carefully, his arms came around her. He held her like she was made of glass. I protect what's mine, he said quietly against her hair. I'm not a possession. No, you're worse. His arms tightened slightly. You're a necessity. Week 3 brought chemotherapy. Dr. Han set up everything in the penthouse, a private treatment room with all the equipment needed. Obi sat in a reclining chair while poison dripped into her veins to kill the cancer trying to kill her. Junwoo sat beside her the entire first session. 4 hours. He worked on his laptop but never left. You don't have to stay, Obi said. I'm fine. I know, I'm staying anyway. Why? He looked up from his screen. Because no one should go through this alone. Your mother was alone. Every treatment, every doctor visit. Because she couldn't afford to miss work, and I was too young to help. His expression was carefully neutral, but his eyes betrayed him. So yes, I'm staying. By hour 3, the nausea hit. Obi barely made it to the bathroom before she was sick. When she emerged, shaking and pale, Junwoo was there with water and a damp cloth. I'm sorry, she whispered. This is disgusting. It's treatment. There's nothing disgusting about fighting to live. He helped her back to the chair. Rest. I'll be right here. Emika came home from school during hour 4. He took one look at his mother, pale, exhausted, clearly unwell, and his little face crumpled. Mama? I'm okay, baby. This is the medicine that's going to make me better. It makes me feel sick for a little while, but then I'll be okay. Promise? I promise. Junwoo stood, extended his hand to Emeka. Come, let your mother rest. I'll teach you Taekwondo. What's that? Korean martial arts. You'll like it. Emeka looked at Obi for permission. She nodded, watched them leave together, this dangerous man and her small son. She closed her eyes and let herself believe that maybe, impossibly, everything would be okay. On day 22, Junwoo's grandmother arrived unannounced. Obi heard the commotion from the guest room where she was resting between treatments, raised voices, Koreans spoken too fast for her to follow. Then Junwoo's voice, firm. She's staying. End of discussion. The door opened. An elderly Korean woman entered. Tiny, elegant, with sharp eyes that took in everything at once. "So," she said in perfect English, "you're the woman who made my grandson remember he has a heart." Obi sat up carefully. "I'm Obi Ageli." "Obi. I know who you are. I'm Grandmother Shin, and before you ask, yes, I know everything. The cancer, the treatment, the child." She settled into the chair beside Obi's bed. "What I don't know is your intentions." "My intentions?" "Toward my grandson. He's funded your entire treatment, brought you into his home, threatens anyone who looks at you wrong. A man doesn't do those things without reason." "I'm not using him, if that's what you're implying." "No, I can see you're not." Grandmother Shin's expression softened slightly. "I'm implying he cares for you, deeply, and I need to know if you're going to break his heart." We're not." Obi struggled for words. "He saved my life, that's all." "Child, don't be naive. Junwoo could have saved your life and sent you to a hospital. Instead, he brought you here, made you family. That means something." "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll be careful with him. He's not as strong as he pretends." Grandmother Shin stood. His mother's death nearly destroyed him. His father's abuse finished the job. He built walls so high I thought no one would ever scale them. But somehow, you did. I didn't mean to. I know. That's what makes it real. She moved to the door, paused. "He's a good man trapped in a bad business. Don't punish him for that." After she left, Obi sat in silence, trying to process everything. Week 4, 2:47 a.m. Obi couldn't sleep. The chemo made everything harder. Sleep, eating, existing. She found Junwoo in his usual spot, standing at the windows. "You're always here," she said softly. "At this hour? Watching the city?" "It's when everything is quiet, when I can think." "What do you think about?" He was quiet for a long moment. Then, "Lately, you." Her heart stuttered. "Junwoo, let me finish." He turned to face her. "I've spent 22 years building walls, keeping everyone at a distance. It was safer that way. Easier." He took a breath. "Then you collapsed on my floor, and suddenly those walls felt suffocating instead of safe." "I don't understand what you're saying." "I'm saying I notice everything about you, Obi. The way you hum Nigerian songs when you think no one's listening. How you arrange flowers by color. The way you fold Amika's clothes with so much care. How you're fighting cancer with the same quiet strength you used to survive everything else." He moved closer. "I'm saying you've become the most important person in my life, and I don't know what to do with that." Obi's eyes filled with tears. "You can't. This isn't. I'm sick. I have a child. I'm nobody." "Stop." His voice was fierce. "You're not nobody. You've never been nobody. You're remarkable and strong and beautiful, and you make my empty home feel like somewhere I want to be. I'm a maid with cancer. You're a survivor, a mother, someone who chose to die quietly rather than burden anyone, someone who brings flowers to cold spaces because you believe in beauty even when the world is ugly." He cupped her face gently. "You're everything I didn't know I needed." "This is crazy." "I know. We barely know each other. I know that too. I could die. The cancer could come back. Then I'll be there. Every treatment, every doctor visit, every moment." His thumb brushed away her tears. "You made me promise not to let you go through this alone. I'm making you the same promise." "Why?" "Because I love you." The words fell between them like something sacred and terrifying. Obi stared at him. "You can't. Too late." "Junwoo, I love you, Obi. I love how you see the world. How you fight without making it look like fighting. How you love Emeka. How you brought life into my death. His voice cracked slightly. I love that you're the first thing I think about when I wake up, and the last thing I think about before I don't sleep. I'm falling apart, she whispered. Literally falling apart. The chemo, the cancer, everything. Then I'll hold you together. That's not fair to you. Let me decide what's fair to me. He pressed his forehead to hers. Stay. Choose me. Let me love you. I have nothing to offer you. You have everything I want. Obi was crying fully now. I love you too. God help me, I love you too. But I'm terrified. Of what? Of this being too good to be real? Of the cancer winning? Of Emeka getting attached and then losing you? Of... She couldn't finish. Of being happy? She nodded. I'm terrified too. He pulled back slightly to look at her. But I'd rather be terrified with you than empty without you. She kissed him, soft, tentative, like she was afraid he'd disappear. Junwoo kissed her back with devastating gentleness, like she was precious, like she mattered. When they pulled apart, both were crying. This is insane, Obi said. Completely. We're going to mess this up. Probably. But I want to try. So do I. They stood there, holding each other, as Seoul glittered beyond the windows. Two broken people choosing to be broken together. Week 8 brought good news. Dr. Han examined Obi's latest scans with barely contained excitement. The tumors are shrinking, significantly. The chemo is working. Obi burst into tears. Junwoo held her while she sobbed with relief. Emeka, who'd been waiting anxiously, asked, Mama's going to be okay? Mama's going to be okay, Dr. Han confirmed. Emeka launched himself at Junwoo, not Obi, who was too fragile, and hugged him fiercely. Thank you for saving my mama. Junwoo went very still, then carefully hugged him back. You're welcome. That night, they celebrated with jollof rice, Obi's recipe, which she'd taught Junwoo's chef. Grandmother Shin joined them, along with Dr. Han and even Kwan, Junwoo's head of security, who Emeka was convinced was a superhero. It felt like family. Messy, complicated, absolutely real. After dinner, Emeka fell asleep on the couch between Obi and Junwoo, exhausted from excitement. Look at him, Obi said softly. He's so happy. He's safe. Loved. That's what happy looks like on a child. You've been good for him, good for both of us. You've been good for me. Junwoo looked at her over Emeka's sleeping form. I didn't know I was half alive until you showed me what fully alive felt like. That's the chemo talking. That's the truth. Talking. Grandmother Shin watched them from across the room and smiled. 3 months after Obi collapsed on his floor, Junwoo took her back to that exact spot. Why are we standing here? She asked. Because this is where everything changed. He took her hands. This is where I found you dying, where I decided to save you, where my life split into before and after. Junwoo, let me finish. He smiled slightly. I had a whole speech prepared. But looking at you now, healthy, strong, alive, I can't remember any of it. Try. Okay. He took a breath. 3 months ago, a woman I'd never really seen collapsed on this floor. She was dying and she'd accepted it. She'd chosen work over life, sacrifice over survival. His voice softened. I couldn't let her die, not because I knew her, but because she reminded me that some people are worth saving even when they don't think they are. Obi's eyes filled with tears. You taught me what it means to truly see someone, to notice the small things, the flowers, the humming, the way you make every space warmer just by existing in it. He squeezed her hands. You made me remember what it feels like to want someone to stay. Not because I own them, but because they choose me. I do choose you. Then marry me. Obi's breath caught. What? He pulled out a small box, opened it. A simple gold band with a small emerald. Green for life, for growth, for new beginnings. Marry me, Obi. Let me be Emeka's father. Let me wake up next to you for the rest of our lives. Let me watch you be healthy and strong and impossibly beautiful. His voice cracked. Let me love you legally, officially, permanently. You're insane. Probably. We've only known each other 3 months. I've loved you for 3 months. That's long enough. People will talk. Nigerian woman marrying a Korean crime lord? Let them talk. He smiled. I don't care about anyone except you and Emeka. Marry me. Yes? Yes? Yes. She laughed through tears. Yes, I'll marry you. Yes to everything. He slipped the ring on her finger, kissed her like she was oxygen and he'd been drowning. From the doorway, Emeka cheered. Does this mean Mr. Shin is my appa now? They broke apart, laughing. If you want me to be, Junwoo said. Emeka ran over, crashed into both of them. I want you to be? Grandmother Shin appeared behind him, smiling. About time. The wedding was small. Obi wore traditional Yoruba aso-oke in deep purple and gold. Junwoo wore a matching agbada that Obi's mother, who'd flown in from Lagos, helped select. Yes, her mother. 2 months after the proposal, Junwoo had done what he did best. He'd researched, found her, paid for her flight, brought her to Seoul. The reunion had been tearful, healing, necessary. Now, Obi stood in a small church in Itaewon, surrounded by the impossible family they'd built. Her mother, Grandmother Shin, Dr. Han, Kwan, and his wife. Emeka as the ring bearer, taking his job very seriously. The ceremony blended Korean and Nigerian traditions, bowing to elders, breaking of kola nut, sharing of wine. When Junwoo lifted her veil, his eyes were wet. You're beautiful, he whispered. You're crying. I'm allowed to cry on my wedding day. Never thought I'd see the day a crime lord cried? You've made me do a lot of things I never thought I'd do. Like what? Like believe in happy endings. They kissed. The small gathering cheered. The house in Hanam-dong wasn't as large as the penthouse, but it was theirs. Garden in the back, where Obi grew flowers. Emeka's room filled with dinosaur posters and taekwondo trophies. A home office where Junwoo ran his increasingly legitimate businesses. He'd sold most of the underground operations, kept the legal ones. Obi was cancer-free, 3 years in remission. She ran a training company for immigrant women, teaching housekeeping skills, helping them find fair wages, safe working conditions. Junwoo had funded it. She'd built it into something remarkable. On this particular Saturday morning, Obi stood in the kitchen making jollof rice and kimchi, their family's signature fusion meal. Through the window, she could see Junwoo teaching 9-year-old Emeka taekwondo in the garden. Higher kick! Good! Again! Emeka was laughing, thriving. He called Junwoo Appa without hesitation now. Obi's hand drifted to her stomach. Still flat, but not for long. She'd found out yesterday. Hadn't told him yet. As if sensing her watching, Junwoo looked up, smiled, that soft, genuine smile he only showed to family. He came inside, sweaty and happy. Emeka's practicing his forms. We have maybe 10 minutes before he comes in demanding food. Good. Obi took his hand, placed it on her stomach. Because I need to tell you something. He went very still. Obi, I'm pregnant. Silence. Then, we're having a baby. Junwoo dropped to his knees, pressed his face against her stomach. His shoulders shook. Obi ran her fingers through his hair. Are you crying again? Yes. Happy tears? The happiest. He looked up at her, face wet. I didn't think we could. After the chemo? Dr. Han said it was possible, just unlikely. Apparently we beat the odds. We keep doing that? We do. He stood, pulled her close. Thank you. For what? For not dying on my floor, for choosing to live, for letting me love you, for this. His hand covered hers on her stomach. For everything. Thank you for seeing me when I was invisible. You were never invisible. I was just blind. They stood there, holding each other, as Amika's voice drifted in from the garden. Appa! Mama! I'm hungry! Obi laughed. Our son is calling. Our son. Junwoo smiled. I'll never get tired of hearing that. They walked to the garden together. Amika ran to them, excited about his new kick. The three of them, soon to be four, sat on the grass and talked about nothing and everything. Later that evening, after Amika was asleep, Obi and Junwoo stood at their bedroom window, looking at Seoul's lights, just like they had 3 years ago in the penthouse. Do you ever think about that night? Obi asked. When I collapsed? Every day. Do you regret it? Saving me? Everything that came after? Obi. He turned her to face him. That night was the worst night of your life, but it was the beginning of mine. That's dark. It's true. I was dead inside, going through motions, building empires that meant nothing. He cupped her face. You made me want to live. Really live, not just exist. You saved my life. No, we saved each other. She kissed him, soft, grateful, full of everything they'd survived and built together. I love you, she whispered. I love you more. Impossible. Watch me prove it every day for the rest of our lives. 3 years ago, Obiageli Nwosu was dying on a marble floor, invisible and forgotten. Now she was Obiageli Shin, cancer survivor, business owner, mother, wife, seen, loved, alive. And the man who'd saved her life had become the man she couldn't imagine living without. Sometimes the worst nights lead to the best mornings. Sometimes you have to almost die to remember how to live. Sometimes the person you least expect to save you becomes the person you can't imagine existing without. This was their story. A story of collapse and resurrection, of being invisible and being seen, of choosing death and being chosen for life. And in the end, it was simply a story about love, the kind that saves you. Thank you for watching, besties. If Obi and Junwoo's story touched your heart, please show some love with a like and subscribe. Your support means everything. Comment below. Would you have chosen to live? Have you ever felt invisible? What did you think about their love story? And here's my question for you. If someone offered to save your life, but it meant completely changing everything you knew, would you take that chance? Let me know in the comments. And remember, besties, you're never as invisible as you think you are. Someone sees you, someone cares. Until next time, keep fighting, keep loving, keep choosing life. See you in the next one.